Welcome, dear students. In this class, we shall continue the story Mother's Cauldron, written by B.T. Janam. In this class, we will have the analysis of story as well as character analysis. Before going through the story, we shall have little introduction about B.T. Jahanavi. B.T. Jahanavi, born in 1963 in Bangalore, she is a renowned Kannada writer and a theatre personality known for her powerful and sensitive storytelling. Educated in Davangere, she explored themes centered around middle class women, Dalit experiences, and societal issues. Influenced by her father, Dr. B.M. Tippeswamy, a politically active ophthalmologist, Jahannavi's writing often portray the intersection of personal identity and larger social realities. Her notable works include ಕಳೆದುಕೊಂಡವರು ಮತ್ತು ಇತರ ಕಥೆಗಳು and ಹುಡುಕಾಟ, both of which highlights issues of gender, memory, and resilience in Indian society. She also authored a biography called ಮುಟ್ಟಿಸಿಕೊಂಡವರು, reflecting on her father's influence and life. Mother's Cauldron, in Kannada, ತಾಯಿಯ ಅಂಡ, translated by Dr. Anuradha PM, is a poignant short story that centers around a copper cauldron cherished by the protagonist, Shivamma. The cauldron, through a mere kitchen vessel to outsiders, became a powerful symbol of love, memory, and sacrifice for Shivamma. It was acquired in her childhood after she innocently touched it in the wealthy Gowda's house, resulting in her father Barmappa taking up labor to pay for it. Tragically, he dies in a work accident soon after, and the cauldron becomes a living memory of him. Shivamma treasures the cauldron throughout her life, scrubbing it daily and treating it like a living being. Her emotional bond with it surpasses material attachment. It represents her childhood, her parents, her struggles, and her dignity. As the only surviving child of her parents, she bears many hardships, including an unfaithful husband, Basappa, and financial strain while ensuring her children Sanjeeva receives an education. Her daughter Gangamma, though reluctant to study, stays at home and witnesses her mother's unspoken sacrifices. Despite her poverty and overwork, Shivamma refuses to sell the cauldron. Even when the pressured by her husband, in a rare moment of fury, she defends it with an axe, asserting her voice and agency, something rarely seen in her otherwise submissive demeanor. The cauldron to her is sacred. It holds her father's spirit, and any disrespect to it is seen as a betrayal to her identity and fast. The story concludes with an emotional climax. When Shivamma dies, clutching the cauldron, her children, who once viewed the object as an antique or a mere utensil, now realize its true worth. Only after her death, the discovery of the untouched money she saved for her son and her funeral rites adds depth to her silent sacrifices. The cauldron thus becomes not just a vessel of water, but a vessel of history, memory, love, and unspoken maternal endurances. The story powerfully explores themes of memory, emotional inheritance, female sacrifice, poverty, and the invisibility of women's labor. B.T. Jarnavi uses simple, poignant language to highlight how an object can hold immense emotional and cultural value. The story critiques materialistic perspectives and calls for a deeper understanding of what women like Shoma endure silently. It has a it also emphasizes the generational disconnect, where modern individuals fail to grasp the emotional depth of traditional values and attachment. So it is a Mother's Cauldron is a touching short story. It highlights deep emotional ties with everyday object. So the theme of the story is memory, motherhood, and sacrifice. It is set in a Muttenahalli, that is a rural Karnataka. The story revolves around Shivamma and her treasured cauldron. The copper cauldron is a symbol of love, memory, and continuity for Shivamma. She scrubbed it daily with tamarind, salt, and brick powder. It represents the pride and heritage of Shivamma's house. This copper cauldron has been passed down from Shivamma Savaya. She treats the cauldron as a living family member. Shivamma cherished her childhood in Muttenahalli. She played with Garuda near the brook. She loved ragi balls and games like Anekallo. She rode her favorite buffalo Gangi. Her early experiences with nature shaped her emotional world. The Cauldron's acquisition is a very interesting story. Shivamma, captivated by the glittering cauldron, she touched it unknowingly, causing a commotion. Gowda's wife believes that the cauldron has been polluted as Shivamma belongs to lower caste. Gowda's wife demanded payment. Baramappa accepted extra labor, instead considered a treasure for his daughter. Baramappa dies while working for the cauldron. Shivamma believed his spirit resided in it, treated the cauldron with sacred devotion, used it to store water daily, held as a memory visual for her parents. The married life of Shivamma. She marries Basappa, a coolie with many vices. Basappa is an irresponsible husband. He flirted with other women. Shivamma was gentle and devoted. She had two children, Sanjeeva and Gangamma. She faced emotional and financial struggles throughout her life, but her determination for education. Sanjeeva was wise beyond his age. She enrolled him in a school with support from Siddhappa. Shivamma vowed to fund his education, worked tirelessly to support him. She also saved for her daughter's marriage. Basappa demanded money daily for drinking. Shivamma never argued in front of her children, lived on water and minimal food. She shielded her children from suffering. She endured every hardship silently. Basappa once tried to sell the cauldron. Shivamma resisted fiercely. She even threatened him with an axe, asserted the cauldron's sanctity. Basappa backed off and left. Mother daughter bond. Gangamma questioned the cauldron's importance. Shivamma described it as a living being, equated it with her own mother. Ganga didn't fully understand. The cauldron became a silent Witness Sanjeeva, who is successful and settled in city and marries Jayashree. He promised to send money monthly. Jayashree wanted the cauldron as a showpiece. Ganga agreed with her sister-in-law. Sanjeeva reluctantly gave in. Shyama overheard their conversation, felt betrayed and disheartened, retreat to the kitchen in silence, embraced the cauldron, rejected the idea of parting with it. Shioma's final moments. She found dead beside the cauldron, a peaceful look on her face. She held letters and untouched money, intended to give it to Sanjeeva, saved money even for her funeral. Garuda revealed the unspent money. Family, shocked and guilt ridden, realized Shoma's sacrifice. Overwhelmed with remorse, Sanjeeva broke down in tears. So, Cauldron is represents memory, identity, and legacy. It has a link between generations. It holds emotional, spiritual significance. The cauldron embodies motherhood and silence sacrifice. The story in the story, the cauldron is a symbol of resilience. The character analysis of Shivamma. Shivamma is the central character in the story and a powerful representation of a silent endurance, emotional strength, and maternal sacrifice. Her life is marked by poverty, hardship, and personal loss, but she retains immense dignity and resilience from the moment she becomes emotionally attached to the copper cauldron in her childhood. It becomes a symbol of her identity, her father's sacrifice, and her inner strength. Her deep devotion to the cauldron reflects her loyalty to the past and her loved ones. Shioma's entire life revolves around caring for her children and maintaining the values passed down by her parents. Despite facing emotional neglect from her husband and indifference from her children, she never abandons her responsibilities. She silently bears insults, overwork, and illness, yet remains committed to her duty. Her ultimate act of defiance, threatening her husband to protect the cauldron, reveals the inner fierceness and unbreakable emotional core. Shioma is a deeply layered character whose life illustrates the inner world of women often ignored by the society. The character of Sanjeeva. Sanjeeva is a sensitive and intelligent boy who becomes the focus of Shioma's dream. Unlike other children, he is a mature and studious. Shivama makes every possible sacrifice to support his education, though he later fulfills his mother's hopes by securing a job and marrying. His inability to fully understand the depth of her emotions, especially regarding the cauldron, reflects the generational and emotional gap between them. Sanjeeva's eventual realization of his mother's silent sacrifices only after her death adds emotional weight to the story's conclusion and exposes the lack of understanding modern children often have towards their parents' struggle. Gangama, Shiva's daughter. Gangama is a practical, stubborn, young girl who initially fails to understand the emotional significance of the cauldron. Though she shares her mother's household space, she does not grasp the depth of her mother's pain and becomes dismissive at times. However, she later aligns with her sister-in-law Jayashree in discussing the Cauldron's future, which reflects how emotional heritage often gets reduced to materialistic thinking in modern times. Gangama's behavior highlights the emotional distance that even close family members can have from one another, especially across generation. The character of Jayashree. Jayashree symbolizes the modern urban perspective that values appearance and utility over the emotional connection. She desires to take a cauldron away to use it as a decorative item, ignoring Shioma's emotional bond with it. Her insensitivity and eagerness to claim the object as an antique for display expose the superficiality of material culture and the erosion of empathy in modern relationships. Jayashree's character serves as a contrast to Shioma's emotional world and highlights the misunderstanding between tradition and modernity. Basappa. Basappa is portrayed as the antithesis of responsibility and affection, outwardly charming but inwardly selfish. He avoids labor and is consumed by humanizing and alcoholism. His demands for money and disrespect for Shioma's values, including his desire to sell the cauldron, highlights his lack of empathy. Basappa's presence in the story emphasizes Shioma's loneliness and emotional neglect within family. His representation of the patriarchal structure that burdens women with both economic and emotional labor without support or recognition. Finally, Mother's Cauldron is a powerful narrative. It depicts everyday heroism of rural women. It celebrates silent endurance and love of Shioma. It challenges materialistic view on legacy. It leaves readers with a deep emotional impact. Thank you.